Hello.
Welcome to the Decrepit Couch.
Episode 3.
Yeah, so here we are, guys. Here we are. We've had an interesting weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give them a little tidbit.
I got a fucking dog.
Another
dog.
Where from?
The homeless shelter where I work on the weekends.
Okay.
The puppy was living with his homeless parents. This couple were looking for homes for these puppies that they had, and the shelter was letting them keep the puppies there, and I suckered myself into it.
I just keep looking over at you, and you're just like holding it perfectly like the frog face. My kids fight over that pillow like every day.
This is my comfort pillow for tonight.
Yeah,
and yes, I'm very dumb. I took one of the puppies, but there were only 2 that needed homes, and they were all going to normal homes. They weren't going to be living at the shelter anymore. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
On my plate, but
you did a good deed.
I did a good day.
You did a good deed.
The puppy will no longer be homeless.
We might bring him on next episode, guys.
Yes, he's still very little.
He's a cutie.
Mm-hmm. It's my grandson, because it's going to be my son's dog.
Aww.
So I'm a grandma.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Nice. Maybe my son will come.
Yeah.
Because he's very protective of the baby.
Yeah, that would be cool to have him on here, too.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And we also did not plan to match color coordinating opposite, but I think that's so funny that we did that.
Yep. As I'm here in my big girl clothes and Natalie's in her belly shirt. It's a good feeling.
Well, I mean,
I'm covering with my emotional sport frog.
My wardrobe consists of a lot of inappropriate items.
Hey.
I guess if I grow up and become a real adult, I should start dressing classier.
No.
But I don't know if I have it in me, Kelly.
No.
I think I don't know.
You're just you.
I keep forgetting what I'm allowed to say and not allowed to say.
But you don't dress slutty.
Well, okay.
If I was built like you.
I know I do.
Well, not around me.
Well, sometimes
maybe at the club.
This is so funny. Okay, here we are.
We're back again. Yeah.
And
so you can introduce what our plan is for tonight?
Me?
Yeah.
You want me to introduce it? I feel like you're a better introducer.
Okay, tonight we're kind of gonna start from the very beginning, since a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about is addiction or abuse in any way, as far as any sort of, it could be anything, any sort of addiction. Food, drugs, alcohol, sex, anything.
Because addiction is addiction. That is so true.
And what we're going to talk about tonight is how we feel. Now, we haven't discussed it, so it's going to be off the cuff, but if we consider it a disease or a choice. And this could be sensitive to some people. A lot of people are not going to agree with us. This cat just loves me. I mean, she's the hot one, but look what I'm getting.
Well, Jack. So Jack is obsessed with me. And what I've noticed is if people that come to the house that I approve of, he tries to have sex with them.
Perfect. The best offer I'd had in a long time. Sorry, buddy. I'm too old for you. He's pissed.
The cats are so funny.
Mad.
Yeah, I thought that would be a good way to start off, is talking about like the very basic of it, like, is addiction, or what do we consider it?
Yeah, we'll talk about our personal opinions about it, which still could change. I kind of go back and forth on a couple things.
I do as well.
And like I said, you might not agree with us, and that's completely fine.
I'd like to hear other people's opinions on it too, because I don't think I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer necessarily with that topic. I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer with a lot of things involving addiction.
And everybody has different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So that could just give you a different take on it. But who wants to start?
I think you should.
Me. Okay.
Yeah, I want to know what you...
I've been thinking about it since you brought the question up today. Me personally, okay, I've had a couple of different addicts in my family.
And has your opinion switched like that as well? Like, what is it and has it switched, maybe?
Well, I think when I was younger, I guess I would have thought it was like a choice because it seemed like everybody that was drunk, or I don't know if I really acknowledged anybody using drugs when I was younger, but it looked like they were having fun. So it was fun. So I guess that in that sense, it was more of a choice. But as I got older and became more educated on different experiences and topics, I feel like at first it's a choice. You're choosing to take that first drink. You're choosing to try that drug. You're choosing to be cool, do what other people are doing, maybe. Choosing to pick up a cigarette, even. But then I feel that as you continue using, and it becomes, in a sense, life-altering in any way, which could be death, hurting others, legal problems, all kinds of stuff like that, then I feel like it's merging into a disease. I hate to call it a disease because I lost both of my parents to cancer, which I consider a disease. They had no choice, really didn't. My mom especially, like you could say, well, my dad smoked, he worked in a steel mill, he had multiple myeloma, he had bladder cancer. Those type of cancers can all be attributed to that. Mm-hmm. My mom didn't do anything. Never smoked. She was a dietitian when I was younger. So she ate right, did the right things, was relatively healthy, like nothing crazy, but, healthy. So those are diseases to me. So sometimes I feel very selfish and I'll say, alcoholism, you're not an alcoholic, you don't have a disease. You're choosing it. Mm-hmm. And I felt that way a lot with my husband. I felt like he was choosing the alcohol over us.
Yeah.
But then I look at his struggles, and sometimes I'd feel like he really did want to make the right choice, but that disease, or whatever you want to call it, stopped him. He had no choice in that matter anymore.
Yeah. I have a hard time with saying it's a disease. And the worst possible thing is for someone to tell me that I have a disease, because it's enabling me. It's enabling me to continue to use, and that's just me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of like irrelevant at that point, and then I feel like them when they start to label it like that more in the mainstream media, I think as addicts we cling on to stuff like that as I think that's a big one to enable us. And I feel like, I don't know, I really believe I have a hard time with a couple of things in addiction, like the disease concept, saying how like once an addict, always an addict. I'm not saying that is not true. I believe that, but I do believe addiction is a disease of the brain and like changes in the brain, all of that. And I believe our brains can be rewired. I really do. So that was kind of what I was thinking of when I asked for the definition of a disease. Are most diseases curable, or are they not? Because I feel like with work, maybe not necessarily curable, but I do believe your brain can be rewired. So, I don't know. Other diseases, like once you have them, is it lifelong? I'm trying to think. Or can things be reversed?
I guess it just depends on what
Maybe
it
they
is.
can be managed with like
Like
certain things.
like would you consider MS a disease?
Yeah,
I guess because it's pretty livable. I guess there's been a lot more success over the years.
Yeah. And also, like, when it comes to addiction, it's not like you need an actual medication. I mean, I know they make things like Suboxone and stuff like that. I understand that, but like, how if you have diabetes, you need insulin. I just view it as different. I view it as different.
Which is to me interesting because you having used in the past, that I would think that a lot of addicts would choose to call it a disease because it gives them kind of a little.
Well, that's what it's
like,
enabling.
I can't help it, I have a disease.
It's that's the enabling aspect that I think of, because I feel like when I was in the worst part of it, that's part of the way that keeps you in the cycle. That's why sometimes, and I'm going to sound so, saying this, but I believe everybody has their own path in addiction. I do not believe there is one cookie cutter way for every person. I do not believe that. So things like rehab, NA, AA, all of that are amazing tools, maintenance, everything. But I don't think they're great for every single person. I think certain things enable certain people. Like, I think about myself. And once I started to go to rehab and get involved in recovery, and I mean this in no negative way towards any groups. I really do mean that. This is just how my brain works. I feel like it was enabling me in a way because I was around a group of people that almost made my lifestyle acceptable. Like, okay, if I go to rehab and I come out and I go to NA and I go to these meetings and I relapse, it's okay. And then you can go back into rehab, and you can go back to a halfway house, and you can go back to NA, and you always have this group of people. Does that?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that's true, but for a while, that's how my brain saw it. I don't know. But then there are some people I know that I'm like, I 100% think that it benefits them and works for them. But I have a very overly analytical mind, and sometimes I think, I don't know, that it almost put me in an environment, or even when I went to rehab for the first time, I feel like I already had my addiction started. But then once I went to rehab and met a bunch of people, it was like, I was almost like excited to get going. Like, that's how I saw it. Yeah. I was like excited to get going. But that's how also, I guess I know I wasn't ready.
So were you excited because you were with like people that had the same issue as you, or you were excited to get better? Or at that point, did you feel like
I was excited
you
to get
weren't
worse.
Going to get better? Oh, okay.
I was excited.
So it was almost
worse.
Making connections.
Yes, I was excited to get worse, and I 100% mean that. I was in my early 20s. I guess I went in. I don't even know how I ended up there originally. I knew I had an issue. Oh, and then legal stuff, and it was kind of just like, okay, I'm going to go to rehab.
Like, kind of you had to, in a way?
Yeah, I didn't have to, but I felt like I had to get people, to think I'm going to get back on track.
Okay.
And then once I got there, and I believe at that time, I don't think I had shot heroin yet. I think I was mainly on pain pills, but it was pretty bad. And this is how, I mean, I really believe this is how most addicts think, whether they admit it or not. Like, but then I got there and everyone else is talking about how they shot heroin. I was like embarrassed. Like, oh, I haven't shot heroin. That's what I have to do when I get out.
Yeah. You had a goal.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yes. And I'm telling you, Kelly, when people act like that's not how they're thinking at the beginning, they're lying to you.
Especially, I can see that if somebody's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to one up. Like, if you go to rehab, you just hear it all day. People like, well, I did this much and I did that much. It's like you get stuck in that mentality.
Yeah. It's like a rehab fish story.
Yeah.
I caught a fish this big. Well, mine was this big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? I shot heroin out better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, with the disease thing, I feel like I don't know if I think it is or isn't, but I think that labeling it as a disease can almost be counterproductive for people in active addiction and early recovery. That's what I believe, because I think it allows you almost an excuse to keep going for a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's people like Kip, who we interviewed last week, didn't need any of that. Mm-hmm. He didn't mention rehab or anything, right?
No, he didn't. And Kip is someone where, so you'll meet people where they say like, you know, you haven't used in so long, but you were never really like in recovery or clean. It was just you were abstinent from the substance or the alcohol, whatever. But I feel like that's not the case for Kip. You can just tell that he has worked on himself. Like, he's in a good spot. It's genuine. So that's what I mean. Like, he didn't do any of that work as a group. He did it on his own. And I think for some people,
it works.
Yeah.
And then I think some people need that. Like, I know a couple of people that are former alcoholics, and 10, 20, 30 years later, they're still going to meetings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Doing all that they need to do. What do they talk about? The book.
Yeah.
The steps. They're following the steps. And that's how many years after their last drink.
Mm-hmm. I saw something before. I don't know how true this is. This is something we could actually look up after. But I saw this and it stuck with me because I have actually thought this on my own. I saw a post before that said something about people that are neurodivergent, which I don't know for sure that I'm neurodivergent, but I would say I am. It was a post saying about how people that are neurodivergent might actually not benefit as much from meetings and group structure like that with recovery. I'm not sure why. I can't remember right now what it said, but I feel like, just from my own personal, I think that might be true. I don't know, because I feel like I had to work through a lot of stuff on my own.
Well, you definitely are different in a sense that you telling a lot of your stories, you just had a different way of thinking about it and almost knowing and anticipating what was going to happen.
I
knew. What you needed to
yeah.
do and what you shouldn't do, but then you could snap yourself out of it too, in a sense, because you are a mom and you do have kids, and you still kept up with those responsibilities and everything, even at your lowest point in addiction. That I don't think a lot of people, so maybe that's a little bit of your different way of thinking, and like going down the line that you just were with the neurodivergence, like maybe they just have a whole different view than a lot of other people.
I think sometimes, or also could that be the group of people that maybe are the more like the functioning addicts that are able to hold it together? Is there a correlation? I don't know. I think about that sometimes too. Yeah. I mean, even going into my addiction, I swear, this is going to sound so crazy, but I'm telling you, like, I chose to be in it. Like, I wanted to be addicted to drugs. Like, I remember consciously getting addicted to drugs, and I thought it was, like, cool. I mean, that sounds stupid, but that was really subconsciously how I felt.
But that's not only a physical rush, but, like, mentally, it's like a rush because you were trying to see how far you could go, maybe.
I would always say, like, I want to feel like I'm one of those people that I'm like, I used to say this, I remember. I'd be like, I want to feel every feeling there is to feel. And, like, do you understand what I'm saying with that? I just wanted to, I had to know what it was like. I had to know. But I did underestimate it because I would think, like, oh, okay, even if I get addicted, I'll just go to rehab and that'll be that. And that's not at all how it works. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I know I probably have at least once, have thought about rehab as that's the fix. You go to rehab and they fix you. Having not been an addict myself, that's just, I always thought that if somebody goes to rehab, they're just going to be better. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
Most of the time, probably.
Yeah.
It's not the case.
You have to really be ready. Like I said, for me, before I was ready, rehab was almost helpful for my addiction, for contacts, for kind of like having other people to co-sign me, for, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, it was not good for me when I wasn't ready. Now, I always think about that. Like, if I, like, when I just got off Suboxone, if I would have went to rehab to do that, I would have gone if I would have been able to. But I just felt like I couldn't with work and the kids. But if I would have went to rehab for that, it would have been a totally different experience. It would have been great. I would have actually, like, utilized it how it's supposed to be. But when I went before in my active heroin addiction, no, I was not in the right frame of mind at all.
Well, hello.
Everyone's here.
Oh, the pretty girl. I don't know. I go back and forth, like I said. I feel like it's a choice at the beginning, and then it turns into a disease, but then I just keep thinking, like, if you just have willpower, you could fight that disease. If you want to call it a disease, it's kind of a cop-out.
My dad used to say that all the time. Like, that he would be like, you just stop, Natalie. It's just willpower. Yeah. And I would then come back with, no, you don't understand, that's not how it works, because that's what I was told through my recovery and everything. No, it's not about willpower. So I would shoot that back at him. And yeah, it's not, but no, it kind of is, because at the beginning, you really need that willpower to just be like, okay, I'm setting this drug or this drink down. You might not use willpower to get through the whole recovery process, but you do need it to an extent. I mean, you do. Okay,
so here's a question. Where does fear come into it? So you make this choice. You're going to try a drug. We'll just stick with drugs for right now. You're going to try a drug. Where does fear come into it? Do you ever are you ever fearful enough that you don't want to try and use again?
No.
Like, that might be where we could look at the disease part. Like, where you physically can't not do it, even though your fear might be at a level that's crazy. So you made the choice to do drugs. Does fear ever become a factor to where you don't want to use again because of ODing or not knowing what was going to happen? Do you feel that fear?
No, I do not. For some people, maybe. But for a lot of people, no. I mean, when I would overdose, like, No, it didn't even faze me. I mean, maybe in that exact moment, like I remember I like gave stuff away, or I was like in the ambulance and I was like, here, just take this. I'm not going to use anymore because I was so like shaken up because it was like in front of my mom, like at her house. And then the next morning I was using again and I
So it's
wasn't
almost
thinking
like
anything of it.
it's almost like when you have a really bad hangover
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I'm never drinking again.
And you're so sick or so addicted to that feeling that
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand. It overtakes everything. And you really just do not have a fear. And then sometimes you're in such a low point that you almost just don't care. You do not care. Like even if you were to die, you're just like, well.
See, and that's, look, knowing you the way I do, that's so weird because your life was good. I mean, you have good parents, you have great kids, you know.
Oh, I've
you had,
always been
but
so.
I think it's almost like that with anything. You look at somebody and you're like, how could they be depressed? Or how, because they seem to have it all together.
Yeah, see,
You know?
I have a personality where I've, like, people always will say that, like, I have such extreme highs and lows, and I don't hate that. I actually, I mean, that is me, and I feel like there are people that are like, oh, you have to fix that, or it's whatever, or, like, a diagnosis, but that's just who I am. For as happy as I can be, I've always also had extreme depression.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when something is going wrong and it can seem minuscule to somebody, to me it's like the end of the world. And I was always like that. And that probably plays a role, you know? It probably plays a role.
Yeah, I guess you have to, I don't know. On this topic, just one last thing that I have to say is just, I think it'll change day to day based on the experiences that I've had with addicts in my life, and just the emotions at the moment.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I have really bad anxiety. I've had it since I was a teen,
Mm-hmm.
and have dealt with depression, and I think a lot of it is because of my anxiety because I would get so whacked out.
Yeah.
Worrying about stuff, and it would be nothing, or sometimes I didn't even know what I was worried about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would just change a lot for me based on my feelings for the day.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about a chemical imbalance and fixing that disease or reprogramming your brain, with addiction, I'm just trying to think, because I don't know. Do you feel like after, so you've been through it all. You got off the drugs, you were on the Suboxone, and then you weaned yourself from that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you've healed yourself or that your brain has reprogrammed? Do you think differently about drugs, or do you feel like you could use today and go right back?
That's such a complicated question for me
Mm-hmm.
because we have to remember I said, like, I'm not fully clean as the standards of, I mean, everybody's standard of clean is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do smoke weed. I drink here and there, not a lot. I don't, maybe like once every like 6 months. I probably should not partake in stuff like that. But I'm just being honest about who I am, you know. I do refrain from obviously heroin and that. I notice 100% my brain healing. Like even the switch from active addiction to Suboxone, there was a switch, a huge switch over time. And I thought I was healed.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got off Suboxone, there was another switch. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I feel like it just keeps getting better, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Um,
And is it something that you think about every day, that you have to still kind of put yourself in a good headspace every day?
So I never really think of like, it's confusing because out of everything I've used, heroin is definitely my drug of choice. I liked that more than anything else. I like obsessed. And even saying that, I never wake up and think, oh, I'm going to go out and use heroin ever. Because it's just such a drastic jump, maybe. There's so many, there would be so many factors. It's so risky. You'd have to find, there's so many things stacked against it. With that being said, are there other days I wake up and I'm like, oh God, I just want to drink tonight or something, you know?
Something else that,
Which is strange because, like I said, heroin is that's the feeling I like. But my brain has somehow almost made it like, no, Natalie, that's off limits. Like, I mean, even look at like what's out there now, the xylazine, all the different things. Like when I was using, the end of my using, it had switched to fentanyl. And that was a lot, but this is different.
Fentanyl terrifies me.
Yeah, and
I don't even know how people can, it just terrifies me because
I was overdosing all the time on it, yeah, at the end, yeah. And honestly, it's not even that, like, it's way stronger, maybe, than real heroin. But, like, honestly, all the addicts that I was using with when the switch happened, we were all annoyed, which I think is so funny because when I see the videos now, they'll be talking about how, like, they want that. And I'm like, oh, no, we didn't. Because it might be stronger, but it's a different high. Like, I liked what I liked, and it's not even around anymore, so I wouldn't use it. Now, there are times, like, I think about what scares me more is things like pain pills, because I love that as well, just as much, and that's less scary to me. So that would be more likely for me. Now, I've taken pain pills since then. I've never been in a head frame where I was going to continue to use them, but that doesn't make it right that I took. It's complicated. Like if I had a surgery, would I get prescribed them? Yeah, if I thought I needed them. Is it safe for me to take? I think sometimes it really depends on where your headspace is.
That's what I was going to ask, if you ever would get nervous and decline pain meds.
I know when I talked to my other friend who's in recovery about this, and not all recovery people would agree with what we're saying, and it might not be right, but I know when I'm at risk for going to, I don't know. Like I know when I'm in a decent headspace and when I'm not in a good headspace at all. I do know that. Even like when I go out, like I went out a few weeks ago, and that was the first time I had been out in so long. And it's complicated for me. Like when I go out drinking, I knew I was going out. I thought about it for weeks ahead of time. Weeks.
Oh, wow.
I was sick over it, but I wanted to go. I knew that if I went, it would be a one-time thing. I knew I wasn't going to go and drink every day. I knew that. But there is still something in me that I get all worked up. And then once I'm there, I'm fine. And I don't know if that's my own internal guilt. I don't know if that's like recovery guilt, because that's what, I don't know what it is, but it definitely, and that's something else that I noticed, like where before, if I was to like use something, it would be like, whatever, I'd have fun. But I think maybe that's part of the stages of recovery, that when I do partake in something now, it's not necessarily fun the way it used to be. I have this different, like, strange, anxious feeling.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was choking. Probably the cat fur. I'm like the mother of cats right now. I have to. I don't even know where I was going now. Because I'm dying on cat fur. I don't have, like, I just, when I think about anybody using heroin or anything like that, like, I don't know the feeling.
No, see, that's less scary. That's less scary to me. Like, as crazy. So when I say
because
this,
I don't know.
No, it's less scary to me to, like, do. No, this is gonna sound so crazy, and I'm not obviously gonna do this, but, like, if I had to, like, work tomorrow, and I could either drink tonight or do heroin, I'd be like, oh my God, you want me to drink tonight? I'll never be able to work. But, like, heroin sounds safe. Yeah. I don't know how to explain that.
I mean,
I don't know how to explain it to people unless they've been there. But it's like, that is how addiction works. That's the best way to explain it when people are like, well, how did this person use in front of their kids? Or how did they do this? Or how did they think this was okay? That's literally the answer. Because if you get up every day and you brush your teeth, as everyone does, like something that is just part of your daily routine, you think nothing of it, right? As crazy as it sounds, injecting a drug into your veins or whatever it is, smoking it, snorting it, if you are doing that every day, it is no longer injecting heroin into your veins. It's just a normal part of your day that you need to function. Yes. Like, I always say to people, if you were to, like, drive with me in active addiction, like, you would be like, did you, like, your brain would be like, Natalie, did you use today? And if I said yeah, you'd be nervous to drive. And if I said no, that'd be fun. Which it's actually opposite. If I was withdrawing, you would not want to drive with me because I would be so foggy and sick. I really feel like you're almost more likely to wreck in those situations, or at least because you're distracted. Yeah. Where, like, yeah, I get people, like, nod out and stuff from drugs, but, like, when you're using your drug of choice, whatever it may be, there's that initial part where it's entering your body where you almost feel more alert and clear-headed and get a burst of energy. And I believe that's the feeling as addicts that we're constantly chasing. Okay. That stage. But when you would shoot up heroin, this might be a little off track, but did you just, like, pass out? Like, they show in the movies. No. They show in the movies all the time. Oh, I'm cleaning the people shoot up and then they go like, ugh, and then they nap for a while. No, I mean, if I'm using a lot and then we sit down, there's a chance I'm gonna take a nap. But no, I'm doing my dishes. I'm gonna go outside and weed the garden. I'm gonna get everything around this house done. I'm gonna go get some snacks from A+. Yeah. I'm going to watch my favorite movie. I thought that's my ignorance. I thought it, like, knocked you out because they do portray that in movies a lot. Well, so what it is that's the part of addiction where, like, think about alcohol. If you go to the bar and you start drinking, you don't instantly pass out, right? But if you stay at the bar till 2, 3 a.m., and you're 10 drinks in or whatever, you can be passing out at the bar. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. Been there. Embarrassed myself. Been there too. Had friends picking me up. Well, unfortunately, I'm the one where I would black out at the bar, but I somehow don't seem to pass out, which I wish I would. Yeah, I'm up and mobile for hours, which is even worse. Talking to people. Yeah, that's hideous. Yeah, that's not hideous. Good. Well, I don't think for myself, I don't think that I would be, I don't think I'd be a good addict because, well, that sounds really weird, but, so, I was on Xanax for years for my anxiety.
years. And the only reason I stopped taking Xanax was because I lost my job, in turn lost my medical benefits, and the doctor that, my primary doctor at that point got in trouble for maybe giving people the things that they didn't need. For the most part, it was being abused.
Yeah.
Now, I was on it for so long, I didn't feel like I abused it. I didn't even know that Xanax was an addictive drug.
Yeah.
Until I saw a movie with like Michael Keaton where it was the start of Oxycontin.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, sometimes.
It was Oxycontin, and I didn't feel like I was ever. I don't even know. I don't know how it would feel to be high, or what Xanax would even do to anybody. So I watched this movie, and everybody that couldn't get the Oxycontin then at that time were hunting for Xanax. And I was like, why are they doing that? And I think it was my husband at the time. He was like, because it's addictive. Like, and I was like, I'm on a drug.
Benzodiazepines take away, help with opiate addiction.
And so
withdrawal.
So like I said, I lost my job, I lost my benefits, and then my doctor wasn't prescribing anymore. So I just decided to stop, not knowing that it was something that I had to wean myself from. So I did. The only thing I ever had close to feeling like, oh my God, I'm addicted, was I had tingles in my arm. That was really weird.
Cat hair everywhere.
See, you're getting cat hair now.
Did you struggle to sleep?
Oh yeah. Because Xanax was sensitive to the only thing that I feel I took 2 every night for years. And then I took 1 during the day if I needed it. Because I, at one point, had very debilitating anxiety. I would have to pull over on the side of the road. And I haven't had any issues, really, since I've been off Xanax. I just haven't found anything to work now. Because in my head, since I found out that it was an addictive drug, when I did get a new job and I had benefits and I went back to a new doctor, that wasn't even an option in my head. I thought, I don't need Xanax. Yeah. Give me something else that's not addictive. Yeah. But nothing works. Nothing helps me sleep. And so it's kind of a real bummer because I don't sleep, and it's very unhealthy, and I know that's why my diet's poor. Everything leads to sleep. I just think it's so necessary. Yeah. But so what they're giving me now is just, I'm taking like 3 pills to kind of try to do what Xanax did, where all I really need is sleep. Yeah. I had 1 episode of really bad anxiety where I literally thought I was dying. I went to my friend's, their daughter's soccer game. And I felt weird pulling into the parking lot. And I get into the stadium.
How long ago was this?
This was last summer.
Yeah, I know why.
Because it was her senior year.
It was at that time period when everything
was transpiring with my family.
I was having the exact same thing happen to me.
So I get in there, I sit down next to my friend, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, I just don't feel right. Then I felt, my forehead felt like it was ice. And I started to feel like really jittery, and then my stomach hurt. And then I could not catch my breath. So I looked like a psychopath walking out of the stadium because I'm like, I'm going to die. And I was going the whole way out. I'm sure everybody looked at me, and, I don't know what they thought, but she gets me into her car. She's like, I'll take you. I called my sister-in-law in the car. I was like, I'm dying. You have to promise me you're going to take care of my son. Literally. I was like looking through a coffin catalog, like, death is coming for me. I get into the hospital. I get into Swickley Hospital, and I turned to the nurse and I said, I'm actively dying. Like, help me. That was me. And she like kind of smiled and she's like, you're okay, honey. Oh, yeah. So they took me back. I was having such a bad panic attack. Out of nowhere. Happy, beautiful crazy? Day. Yep.
I know. That was actually how I first told my parents about my addiction. I was in college and I was already an alcoholic and I had messed with drugs. I wasn't currently really doing any, but I had a pretty severe Adderall speed addiction before that. And I started taking these I had these panic attacks in college, horrible. And I didn't have them again until what I just said, like the divorce. So I was having this one and I felt like my throat was closing off. I remember my friend was driving me in her car and I got back to my dorm room and I called my parents and I said, hey, you have to come to school and get me. I'm dying. I used to do drugs and I must have ruined my heart. So just come get me and take me to the hospital. And that's what I said. And they're like, okay. And they took me to the hospital and they were like, oh, you're just having an anxiety attack induced by alcohol. So when you start, that's something I always know when I'm speaking with someone and they don't know that they have an alcohol problem, but they'll always start to mention how they have really bad anxiety the day after drinking. And it's always like a light bulb goes off in my head. I'm like, they're starting to, because it's somehow whenever your addiction progresses with alcohol, that starts where you just have really bad anxiety the next day. And that was how I told my parents that I was an addict.
Yeah, that makes sense with you saying with alcohol you have anxiety the next day, because a lot of times when I drink, and it could just be like a few drinks, I feel guilty the next day. Mm-hmm. Not because I drank, but I feel like I did something wrong, even though it's like, seriously? Like,
well, also because of the situation you were in. Because I know for me, and this is tricky to say this because I'm an addict myself, so how dare I speak on my husband's addiction and view it differently, but I do believe addictions can be different. If I was to ever do anything or drink, I would feel extreme guilt because I was like, oh my God, I'm triggering him. Or I have no business doing this because it's going to throw everything off. Or like I would have my own addiction guilt and then the guilt of his also on top of it.
I did that a lot with my husband. Because I didn't want to trigger him in any way. And I don't mean like trigger like that he was mean or violent or anything like that. But I didn't want to watch a TV show or a movie if they drank in it. I wanted to keep him in such a sterile environment of anything reminiscent of alcohol or drinking, even though he always had it himself. But you know what I mean? I didn't want anything to make him feel like, yeah, let's drink. And then I went through a phase where I was like, I'm going to drink with him. I'm gonna have this fun too. And then we just had two raging drunks, but I was the one that wasn't the alcoholic, and I was, a mess that I can't beat him. I tried it.
I forgot to turn the microphones on.
The whole time?
Yeah, but it's okay. We can still just pretend like we did last time. We didn't use them last time either, and it still sounded okay.
Yeah. Well, at one point, you'll see that I looked down, but I didn't want to move it because I know if I touch it, it makes noise. I was looking to see if the light was on.
We can touch it all we want now.
But that's okay. Katerina, we screw up at least once every time.
Yeah.
She's not talking. But you're the prettiest girl.
She's anorexic. Little Katerina.
She's a little bit of a binge eater.
I wish she was a binge eater.
This one, completely comfortable.
Yeah, Jack's my guy.
We both have cats named Jack, if we didn't say that before.
How cool is that?
And they have 3 eyes between them.
Yeah, Kelly and I have a lot of like weird life similarities. We'd be like talking about like just our whole life that we had going on this last year. And I'd be like she'd say something so specific. Like
when I found Ham's beer on my back porch.
Yes, and I'd be like, dude, it's on my back porch too. Or you'd be like, they left a bag of clothes. And I'd be like, they left a bag of clothes on my porch. Like every single thing was the same. And then even what about like the getting clean? Like the same time. Yeah. Like, I don't know. And that was part of what pushed me too. Like how we had talked about doing the podcast, but we were just talking at first. I feel like all those little things where like in my brain, I was like, we're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do. There were too many like synchronicities.
Yeah. And there were weird things like that, like the clothes being left on the porch or anything like that. It was just funny little coincidence. Like tonight with the clothes, we both have on tan and black.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid to other people, I'm sure.
But it's not.
But it's funny to us. That's why we think that we're living on separate planes, but we're like the same people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I have, you know what, guys? I know this is too early for me to talk about other topics, but like once we get going, I would love to have like a station where I talk about really crazy out there stuff like that. Because like I can really get into it.
Like conspiracy theories and stuff?
Like all of it. Like what if we're all just one collective consciousness? And what if like every human is just really a version of ourselves and like lessons we need to learn?
No, she can really go with this stuff.
We'll talk about that some other time. We'll keep it light tonight.
But yeah, I think tonight was a good talk.
Yeah.
About disease and choices and just getting to know a little bit. Hopefully every episode we just share a little bit more of our lives too and insight. And at some point, I don't know if you said it already, but we do want to have a more interactive show and maybe go live at some point. Because it would just be fun to hear other people's nonsense talk with us or specific things that they want to bring up. Yeah. Or other people's ideas on what we talked about tonight. Because everybody's different. And I'm sure we offended some people. Yeah. Especially you. Like, being an addict. No, I'm sure it pisses off a lot of addicts with you saying, I don't feel that it's a disease.
Oh, you know? Yeah, that really, like, I don't know. Oh, that's... So my dad really has that. My dad's just very strong-willed and is able to... He just is on a level I've never seen anybody. And I think that's where I get some of that, like in my core. And also my mom, she had a lot of serious health issues. She was on Oxycontin prescribed the majority of my childhood. And she said obviously she was probably physically addicted just from, taking it. But when the doctor told her, like, you have to get off this, she just got off it. And I was like, well, what do you mean?
And that's super dangerous too.
Well, she did it how he said. But she was like, I just stopped taking it. She's like, yeah, I felt a little bit sick, but he said to stop taking it.
Yeah.
And that was so crazy to me because like pain pills to me are like a feeling that I just couldn't even. Yeah. I don't know.
Now my dad, with the type of cancer that he had, like I said, multiple myeloma, it's a cancer of the blood platelets. He was on Oxycontin. That was how they managed it because there was really nothing that you could do. And then they gave him the oxycodone for the breakthrough pain, just like on that show.
Yep.
But I remember it was around Christmas and something got screwed up because when you're on a drug like that, if they're doing it the correct way, you don't have like a prescription that's just filled. Like you have so many refills. Like it has to be called in by your doctor every time that prescription's out for the month.
Yeah.
And it was around Christmas and the script wasn't going through. We tried a couple different pharmacies. They actually were calling each other. Like a Rite Aid called a Giant Eagle, whatever, to see if they had it to fill my dad's script. And that was where I really saw that it was a physical addiction for him because he would even tell you, my dad was really cool and talked about all this. He would even tell you he didn't know if he actually was feeling the pain at all anymore from his cancer because he was always so numbed up with that.
Yeah.
But he had such a need. He was the crabbiest, crankiest dude.
Oh, yeah.
Until we were actually able to get it. And then he was like apologizing to everybody because he was just like madness. Yeah. And the only thing that I can think of how he would explain how he felt with Oxycontin was this rush that would start tingling at his toes and go all the way up over his head. Now, I had spinal cord surgery years back, and I never used had any big drug like morphine. I had it in the hospital, intravenous. And you press that button, and it would start, you'd be completely nauseous, like, I'm going to puke, all the way up. It goes over your head, and then it was just like, yeah, like, and if that's what a drug feels like, I could see how that was addictive. Because I can't say I was an addict for the few days that I was in the hospital after surgery, but I was almost ready. I was like, when can I get this again? And I pressed that button.
Yeah.
And it was just an awesome feeling, and all that pain went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see that.
Yeah.
Maybe that was my...
Yeah.
That was my feeling that I could understand.
Yeah.
Somebody taking pain pills and stuff, that it would just give you that euphoric feeling.
Yeah. And then once you start, I always say, like, obviously I was addicted on every level, but for me, I'm already a really sensitive person, like to, I don't know, a lot of things. I think neurologically, I always had really bad restless legs as a kid, long before addiction. So I'm already like predispositioned to that. And when I would withdraw, I am telling you, I'm a pretty strong person mentally. I do believe that. I mean, I don't care if I'm shitting my pants. I could be throwing up. None of that matters to me. And honestly, when I withdraw, that doesn't really, I mean, I get diarrhea, but I don't throw up like other people do. Mine is all neurological. It's like my restless legs are so bad, and it's not just my legs, it goes through my whole body. Kelly, I can't explain to you. I go like mad mentally.
Yeah.
And that's why I end up using, because it's so intense and so crazy. Actually, I was gonna like save this for a little later, but you know what? We'll just throw this in here now. So I always think about this one time. So after Sean died, my son's dad, and I had relapsed, and I was really using, but I don't think I realized quite how re-addicted I was. So I was using heroin, and I went to visit my grandparents that lived like an hour away with my mom into Pittsburgh. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to get anything. It was the day of trick or treat. I was like, I'm not going to get anything. I thought it'd be fine because like I was used to not being addicted. And I was like, I'll get it later tonight. Well, I underestimated how bad it was, and I started withdrawing really severely while we were there. So we start driving back. This is going to sound so crazy. We start driving back, and my mom is driving. And when I withdraw, that happens to me with my legs, but also, as other addicts are going to know what I'm talking about, when you're withdrawing really heavy, you have like the weird sexual stuff, like at night, if you do manage to fall asleep, like I feel like you almost have like orgasms and things because your body you weren't able to feel for so long. Like you'll start sneezing. Like you don't sneeze in active addiction. You don't sneeze in opiate addiction, really. Like you don't really have orgasms, or they're not as intense. So you'll start having all this stuff happen, okay? So I would kind of have stuff like that happen. But it's not necessarily a good feeling, okay? So my mom is driving back, and I remember laying on the floor of my car in the back seat. And I just said I was sick or something. She didn't know what was going on. And I was literally having, like, I was so sick and withdrawing so bad. I was having these neurological pains go up through my legs, through, like, my pelvic area. And it was literally, like, causing me to orgasm, but not in a good way. It was, like, the most painful feeling. I was, like, doubled over in pain over and over. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like the entire ride. And I remember jumping out of the car, and like when I got home and I got in the car to go to my dope dealer, and I was so sick, I couldn't even put my feet on the pedals. I was literally picking my feet up and like driving myself. And yeah, and I went and I got it, and then I was fine. I was fine. And I went trick-or-treating, and I have a picture of myself holding my son in a koala bear costume, and I'm smiling. And the most disgusting part is when I see that picture, I don't think about it being like a good Halloween. I think about, wow, that was that day I was withdrawing so bad.
Wow.
And that is what sucks about addiction, is it takes over everything. But okay, that's the perfect example. Do you see that? So if I wouldn't have went and got that, I couldn't take my son trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
So do you see how it just constantly?
Yeah.
I just thought I'd
crazy.
share
No,
that.
I mean, that's crazy. Now, can you look at yourself? I get these weird thoughts and I just gotta let them come out. When you look at pictures of yourself, not necessarily remembering the thing, can you look at a picture and go, I was high in that picture? Oh, yeah. Yeah?
And it's crazy because in active addiction, you don't necessarily see it. Now I do. Like, if I, like how I say I take kratom now and I need to stop taking it, I look at my eyes and I'm like, oh my God. But like when I was like on Suboxone even, or like in active addiction, I wouldn't notice it for some reason. Now I do. I think that maybe comes with like significant clean time or just that mental change. You really notice it. There are pictures I look at and I thought, like my friends and I always say, it's like we thought we looked so good, and I am appalled when I look at the picture. I'm like, was I out of my mind? That's just how it goes.
Yeah. It still amazes me that you were a heroin addict at all. Because for you to be at this point, it's just...
It amazes me that it amazes people. Because it's such a part of me, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but yeah, it amazes me that it amazes people, because addiction is so heavily ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and most of the time when people see addicts, it destroys them.
It did though. Like when I look back at pictures, I'm telling you, like there are pictures where I just look, it was so bad.
Yeah.
But that, like I'm the perfect example of that. Like if you really do change your life, and do the right things, you can usually get your health. I mean, hopefully if you don't stop too late, you can get your health back, you can get things back.
I don't know how much longer we want to go, but I do have a question about this. Is it Suboxone? Suboxone. Okay. So is that heroin?
Yeah, it is. I mean, people want to say it's not, but it is.
Yeah.
So Suboxone is essentially a way to, when you, like I wanted to be clean so badly, but I couldn't do it. I wasn't, like I wanted to want it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to live a normal life, but I just freaking couldn't give up that feeling. So that's essentially what it is. It's a way for you to not have to fully give up the feeling, but live a normal life where you know the exact dose you're taking, what you're taking. People always, you're going to hear every addict say, I didn't even feel it anymore. You're being a little dramatic. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're not like, after a while, but don't say you're not feeling it. Don't say you're not getting a little rush after you take it and clean your house or get a little extra work done, because you do.
Yeah.
You do. The majority of the time I was on it, I took a very small amount though, compared to, like, I know people taking really large amounts, even at the beginning. And so here's a good example of how much they really overprescribe. Most places do a standard. They're going to give you 2 8-milligram strips a day. That's 16 milligrams. In the worst of my addiction, I never took more than 1 strip a day, 8 milligrams. So if I was going, and there were times I was using, there were times after Sean died, I could do like 50 bags of heroin a day. That's a lot. I was still never going above 8 milligrams of Suboxone a day. So they're really overprescribing it. I do believe that. And why are they? I don't know. Because they know everyone's selling it. Do they want it to be sold? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. But Suboxone saved my life. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle it. I needed it. I believe if I didn't have Suboxone and I had to just go to straight sobriety, I would have ended up dying.
No, are there people that will remain on Suboxone the whole rest of their lives?
Yeah. They call it a life-sustaining medication, so you can stay on it forever. If you would have asked me a few years ago if I was ever going to get off of it, I probably would have said no. Yeah. I thought I'd stay on it forever.
Well, I remember when you were weaning yourself from it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were so excited every time I saw you.
Mm-hmm.
You would just, because you've always been open about your addiction and your journey recovering with it. And you were just so excited. You were like, yeah, I'm only going to be on, whatever. I'm down to this dose and I'm down,
Yeah, I was.
So that was cool to see too.
Yeah. I can't believe I've stayed off of it. And I'm kind of down on myself about taking the Kratom. But I will say, I'm not taking the large amount and I'm not taking like the 7-OH and all the crazy stuff. I just take the Kratom powder. And I know it's not ideal, but I will say I know my opiates and stuff like that. It's nothing like Suboxone. It's not the same intensity. I can tell I'll be able to get off of it easier. But I also know myself, and I know when I'm in the right mind frame to start weaning off of something and to do it successfully. Yeah. So that's something I need to do over the next couple months.
What exactly is Kratom?
So it's like a leaf. I believe it's from Asia. And essentially they would make tea out of it. So what I get is the Kratom powder, which they would make tea out of. And it's strong. If you were to take some, you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, okay, this feels kind of opiate-like. But the reason, and it is physically addictive. The reason Kratom, though, over the last couple of years has gotten such a bad rap is because they started making synthetic drugs. In the gas station, you'll see those 7-OH pills and stuff, and they're Kratom pills, but they are so different. I do not know what they're putting in that. Those things are so strong, and they, Kratom makes me just feel a little bit, I can feel it, but when I take the 7-OH, it would make me moody and just crazy. Yeah. I can't even believe
you see it. It's sold
everywhere.
Yeah, I saw it on signs on where they sell THC and stuff too.
They're supposed to be banning it, or whatever and they need to. Here's an example, and you have to think I have a tolerance for these types of things compared to someone else. I bought one 7-OH pill. I think it was 20 milligrams. And they're selling 100 milligram ones now and higher. This was a 20 milligram one I bought at the register. You could just grab it right at the thing. It wasn't even behind the counter. $6. I took one of them. This was last summer. I said to Josh, I was like, I think I have to go to the ER. I think I'm overdosing. That's how strong it was. I threw up everywhere. I had to go lay down. I actually thought I was going to have a seizure or something. I felt so weird. And I was able, I could have essentially a teenager could have just stolen that right out of the thing.
How old do you have to be to buy it?
I would say 18.
Cigarettes?
I would say 18. But you know what else they'll do too? They know it's so addictive. When you go to those places, they'll give you stuff for free. If you go buy a Kratom drink at the vape store, they'll be like, oh, here's a new one that just came out. Try this. Or Josh said the one time he was at this gas station down the street that sells a bunch of the stuff. He told me the guy offered him for free. He's like, oh, we got this new 7-OH in. They were the 100 milligram tablets. And Josh was like, no, because it's that, like, I can't even grasp that, but that's how addictive it is. I know multiple people that have ran up tabs with the vape shops and gas stations. They're actually fronting people them. It's crazy.
Yeah. Just like on the streets. That's how they know to get you.
It's the same thing.
Crazy.
On that note.
Yeah.
This was a good one. I liked it. Hi, Jack.
Jack liked it too.
Jack, do you have anything? This matches you perfect. Yeah, maybe. So next week we might, we'll see what we're gonna do. I would love to be able to get downtown, but we'll see.
We have the crazy draft coming here.
It ends Saturday, and I heard Saturdays are not going to be quite as busy, though.
You never know.
Yeah.
We talked about going to Uber in the city like crazy people. Yeah.
Or even on Sunday we could go down too. We'll see. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Or maybe we'll get a guest. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our 3rd episode
of the Decrepit
Couch. Decrepit Couch on Nana's couch.
We'll see you here. We'll see you here. We'll save you a spot for next week.
Bye.
Bye.